Welcome back to Career Center. I'm Kimberly White, Executive Director of the Community Career Center, and back with me are life coach Nicole Comis and Terrie Vanover. Thank you, ladies, for sticking with me.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, I know we talked a little bit at the beginning about, why you all decided to go down the path of becoming life coaches. Why would someone seek out a life coach? And what would be, something going on in their lives where you might suggest you need a life coach? I know you met with a life coach before you became a life coach.
A couple times, yeah. For me, if you have big things you want to accomplish in life, I truly believe we can move faster and more efficiently when we have a partner. Mm-hmm. And that's really, to me, that's the biggest benefit of coaching. It's a non-judgmental third-party person you can talk to about anything and everything, support you working through your fears and your limiting beliefs to help you achieve what you want in your life.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's something that you're struggling with or you're feeling stuck, even if you want to take your personal life to a whole new level or your professional life to a whole new level, a life coach can help you kind of knock down those blocks and move yourself to a whole new level.
So I want to talk about a couple things. So for instance, you just mentioned if you're stuck. So if you are stuck, what are a couple of things, nuggets that you would share with someone? If they're stuck in, maybe their career, or maybe it's, stuck in a marriage or whatever that might be. What are some things you would suggest?
I think that first is getting clear on what it is you want. So first get clear on the goals and then what's preventing you from getting those goals. So oftentimes you mentioned the fear. Usually people are afraid. So they're afraid of judgment or afraid of success or afraid of failure, lack of confidence. So usually getting through the roadblocks and becoming unstuck is a matter of getting real clear on what's beneath that and having the goals. And if you're not getting to those goals, what's preventing you? And oftentimes it's a self-sabotage. Oftentimes we are sabotaging ourselves when we're stuck.
Sabotaging by just staying in that place and not reaching out for assistance or what have you.
It could be anything. It could be not taking a chance. It could be, a regular thing that you see is people who are on weight loss programs, right? How often do they sabotage their success? They're doing great. They're down 20, 30 pounds, and then they sabotage it, right? And they're like, oh, I screwed it up. I'm done, right? So a lot of times we sabotage really what we want because we're afraid of it. We're afraid that if we achieve it, life is going to be different, and we don't know what's on the other side of that. What we're used to, and we talk about this a lot, is our comfort zone, right? And so our comfort zone is broken up into several different components. It's our fears, our limiting beliefs, our survival mechanisms, which are things like perfectionism, self-sabotage, controlling. There's all kinds of different components. But what it really does is it protects us from changing. And it keeps us safe and cozy. And it's where people like to spend their time. People are also afraid that if they do something different, that they may outgrow their friends or that they're not going to get
their spouse.
Their spouse, right? I mean, that's a big thing, is that people are so afraid of what other people are going to think.
So when you're talking to them, you're helping them to not be afraid. You're sharing some
ways to overcome that fear, right? So the fear is always going to be, it will always be there, right? It'll hang around. It just won't be as strong, as potent. We're human. We all have fears. We're never going to completely erase them from our lives. But it's addressing them, shining a spotlight on them that allows you to choose something different.
So as it relates to job search, if I'm in a job search right now and it's taken me a long time to land, and I'm more and more fearful every day because I have to pay the bills. I have to figure all these things out. What is something, what would you suggest that someone could do if they are facing that type of fear? Because I know we see that at the center.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it depends on the person. Everybody's different. I spoke with a woman today who was in a very similar spot. Mm-hmm. She has been looking for a job for 8 months. Mm-hmm. She's been without a job and just really feeling down. Mm-hmm. And she's somebody who gets fueled from being with other people. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things I put out there for her was to think about getting even just a part-time job. Mm-hmm. Get something where, whether it's a coffee shop or at Kohl's, where she's going to be around people. Right. And I said, when you're in action and you're doing something different, you never know who you're going to meet and what doors are going to open up.
Yeah. She made you start feeling better about yourself too, right? Because you're out there and you're doing something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes I think Nicole's right. If you're sitting and festering in the fear day in and day out, it just compounds itself. Mm-hmm. So getting out of that fear is very important. Answering the question, well, what if I don't get a job? Well, what if you don't? Mm-hmm. And then what? And then what? And then what? Kind of like Nicole says, shining a spotlight on that so it's not so scary, and at least you know where you're going and you can keep moving forward. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How important is it to set goals?
Oh,
look at both of you.
I think it's the most important thing that anybody can do.
Mm-hmm. In all aspects of your life.
All aspects.
Okay.
And my clients, I typically have them look at, we dissect what's important to them, but typically they're creating what I call objectives, which are like goals on steroids, right? Like, so it's that stuff that pulls at your heartstring and really supports you in moving forward. And then creating milestones and different action steps to help you achieve that. It's game changing.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the recommendations for building confidence is setting goals, both small and large, and taking action steps to reach those goals. That's how you're going to build confidence, not sitting around going, I'm great, I'm terrific. No, you have to achieve things, and then you feel better about it. Look at that, look what I accomplished, look what I did. Goals are it's important for families, for job seekers, everyone.
Well, and I feel too that when you know what you want and what you want your life to look like, you get really clear on that, you can achieve anything. I quit smoking after 20 plus years, completely cold turkey, and never wanted another cigarette again, right? But it was because I knew what I wanted and I knew what was important to me because I took the time to actually connect to what I wanted my future to look like.
Right.
And the kind of goal is important too, Kim, not just, I want to lose weight. Those goals are not impactful. They're not significant. They have to be measurable. SMART goals. You have to have a system in place to reach your goals.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you mentioned small and large goals. What about realistic and unrealistic goals? Are there
I don't know that I'd use that term realistic or unrealistic, but maybe big and small or long-term, short-term goals maybe.
Yeah, and I also like to push my clients, right? So I ask them, what's predictable? Okay, so is this goal predictable based on your past, or is it what you really want? And so we also look at the difference between predictable and a fantasy.
Okay.
Right? Like, let's be realistic, right? Like, is this a fantasy and do you believe that you can achieve it? That's really the most important thing is, do you believe that you can achieve this goal? Or, because if you don't believe it, you're not going to go after it. Right? So looking at both sides of that.
But if they believe they can achieve it,
go for it.
Go for it. And I guess I was thinking about, when you have someone, a short-term goal, maybe, I need to get a job in the next 2 months or 1 month. I have life savings that can sustain me. But is the unrealistic goal, I want to be, CEO of a company in 2 months, but I've never done A, B, C, or D to get to that point. I mean, if someone came to you with an unrealistic goal based on...
I would look at, what does that represent? What does being a CEO represent? Maybe it represents power or leadership or responsibility or whatever it represents to that client. Because it could be a goal because of what it represents in their head. Like for a lot of people, I want to make $1 million. Okay, what does $1 million represent? It might be freedom to travel. It might be time. It might be whatever it is that goal represents. Sometimes you have to go a little bit deeper. So yeah, if someone comes to you with something that's like kind of out of left field, like, I don't know how practical this is, but what does it represent? So maybe they can be a leader in their community by volunteering, or maybe they can start their own organization. They, for some reason, they seem to want to be, powerful in leadership. So maybe that's what it's about.
Right. Were you going to say something?
I would agree 100%. I would look at, why is that important to you? Right? Like, why do you want to be the CEO? What does that mean to you? What do you enjoy about that? And looking at it, and is it because a limiting belief, right? Like, I feel like I have to have this position or hold this position to be worthy or to be valuable. There's so many different things. I had a client who, again, came for a job search, and she said, I need to get paid what I'm worth. I need to make this much money. And I asked, well, is that important to you? And looking at, well, what are the things that you really want? What do you want your day to look like? And is it really because of the dollar amount? Chances are it's not. You would take a smaller income to go to work and love what you do every single day and get fulfilled in those other areas.
Right. You've mentioned a couple times limiting beliefs.
Yes.
Expand on that, both of you. Good, just briefly.
So limiting beliefs to me are, I'm not good enough. I'm not blank enough. I can't achieve X until I accomplish Y. I can't be a CEO of a company until I have
this
20. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to limiting beliefs, it's looking at all those people that have blown up the mold. Right, like Elon Musk, and like going out. Who is he to go into outer space? Like, he's not a NASA scientist. What does he know? It's just like these limiting beliefs. And was it? Is it Steve Jobs? He didn't have a college degree or whatever, and running
Walt Disney,
all these things. So sometimes those limiting beliefs are put on us from the outside. Oh, you can't do that. You can't start your own company, or no one wants to. Who will pay to see a movie cartoon, right? Like you said, Disney, like, a lot of people will do that. So I think it just, if you can let go of those beliefs, really the world is just, the possibilities are infinite. And I think that's what, it's just powerful. So having someone, an accountability partner, like a coach, to help you unveil those limiting beliefs, whether they're outside or inward, like with women especially who have that inward limiting beliefs, like, I'll only ask for this much in my promotion, or no, let's blow that up. Like, let's.
I think Lean In has helped a lot of women too with that, right? I know it's a great book.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, a limiting belief too could be things that we heard growing up. That's not safe. Don't talk to strangers. Why do you think people have a hard time networking? Money doesn't grow on trees. Most people I talk to have limiting beliefs around money. So that type of thing as well, right?
Well, we have to wrap up, but I know you are Nicole Comis, and they can find you on NicoleComis.com.
That's right.
And Choosing to Rise, Terrie Vanover. You ladies were great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on this month's edition of Career Center. And to our television audience, if you are unemployed, underemployed, or seeking a career change, visit the Community Career Center at 1815 West Diehl Road, Suite 900 in Naperville, or search us on the web at communitycareercenter.org to learn more about the resources available to you as you search for your next success. Thank you so much for watching.